Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to a special episode of Shooting Stars Live with a very special guest, none other than Dakotaz. Dakotaz is most known for being one of the ruthless and most best, very, very talented players at Infestation and H1Z1 competitive survival games. Super excited to have him on the show this evening. Dakotaz, what's going on, man?
Hello, sir.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. When we started talking and I'm like, I gotta have you on the show, man. You have such a unique story, and I can't wait for everyone to get to hear about you, man. So what's been going on? How's life?
Life is good, man. Just got my visa, so for France, 1 year stay. So I'm really excited about that.
Nice.
I've been trying to get that for a while. So
nice. So we're gonna get into that and why you go back and forth between France and vice versa. But before we get started here, we like to start the show with kind of like a little warm-up or a little icebreaker, where we select a trending news topic or something in gaming that's really applicable to you and what you're known for. And the big news right now is what's going on with H1Z1 right now. And they're splitting the game, right? They're going to H1's, instead of having it survival and battle royale together, now it's H1Z1 King of the Hill and H1Z1 Just Survive. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts is that it's the best thing for the game right now, because basically, I mean, it's already two games if you think about it. I mean, they do have the same engine, the same look, so but surviving and battle royale is completely different. So I think it's the best thing for the game.
That surprised me that you say it's the best thing for the game, because so essentially, they're taking this single game and they're dividing it so that you can compete in BR in a separate game in Battle Royale, or you can play Survival in another. But what about the transfer over? So, like, when you do well in BR, do you feel like that translates to doing well in Survival, in terms of...
Yeah, I definitely think it does. Like, like, for instance, if you play a lot of Battle Royales, your aim is going to be the same in Survival. You're going to be familiar with the game. But I think the important thing is that Survival doesn't get love right now, like in a survival perspective, which I don't really play at all. I don't play it, but I know that like their community doesn't really get love at all. So because Battle Royale is so popular compared to the other, and the fact that they're going to put a team just on Survival and a team just on Battle Royale, it's going to help, Survival get love and get updates and, for that community. So
someone like yourself, you're extremely talented in the BR type style, and the skill to do both well is very similar. Why don't you enjoy, or why don't you explore Survivor at all? What is it about the Survival that doesn't have the same draw for you?
For me, I really like the competitiveness of Battle Royales. The community is just different. It's everyone's battling on the leaderboards, familiar names, the adrenaline of when you're fighting. I see some names in the chat like Stormin. He's here. He's a really good Battle Royale player. When you see someone like that in Battle Royale, you get a rush. You get an adrenaline. Like, you want to fight that guy. He's a streamer. I'm a streamer. It's going to be a battle, and your community's going to enjoy it. And also the last top 10, when you're in the top 10, it's your heart is just... Survival can't do that for me. My heart is going to explode on like the last 10.
So have you played the survival mode of H1Z1 at all, or you just know I don't like it, I'm not going to mess with it?
I've played survival mode, but when I played it, I haven't touched it in maybe like 5 months or so, but back when I would like just mess around with it, always would get hacked. Gather up my stuff and then someone would kill me, hack me.
Got it.
So I was like, screw this.
So you think splitting the game is going to be a good thing? Do you think one side of the game is going to, or now that it's two individual games, do you think one side of the game is going to get more love than the other in terms of development and press and stuff like that? Or what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think it's anything for Survival is positive at this point, because they don't do a whole lot for Survival. Not that they're not doing anything, but I think like Survival people should be excited, because I know if you go on Reddit or anything, whenever they post, you see just everyone in the community for Survival is just like, yo, when are we gonna get love? What is going on here? They're passionate. They love that part, yeah, which is great.
Yeah, and so the H1Z1 King of the Hill, the new BR, there's talk that it's going to be a subscription-based game, where you have to pay monthly. What are your thoughts on that versus how it's set up now?
I mean, honestly, I'm against that. I'm against it because, I don't know, I just like the way Battle Royale is now, it's good,
All right.
But I would pay for it, you know.
You definitely would pay for it.
I would pay it. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
So let me ask you this. So now this game is splitting. You've seen a lot of changes, in the game known as the War Z. Can you take us through the progression of that game in terms of, development and changing hands? And can you make any correlations between that and what's going on with H1Z1?
Well, if I'm being completely honest, which is going to be, I'll be straight up honest, man. You can't really compare the dev teams of H1Z1 and War Z because, no offense to the dev team of War Z, the dev teams of H1Z1, like the first couple weeks, they did more in a couple weeks than War Z did in years.
In terms of what?
Just adding stuff, fixing bugs, optimization, just doing anything that was kind of broken, I'm not going to diss War Z completely because I love that game, It's like a cult, for me, it's a cult classic. It's like something that whoever found it and loved it, they love it passionately. It's like a cult classic, But yeah, I don't know. War Z, I believe it spawned out of when DayZ came out.
Yeah.
Zombie survivals was the hype, man. People were like, "Holy smokes, this is changing the game." And War Z was originally it was called War Inc. and it was a shooter game where you just battled each other, and it was like a shooter back and forth team based game. And then they saw DayZ, and they literally took the same engine, the same look and everything, and made War Z because they were like, "This is what's gonna make money" or something, And they did that, and it was very successful. But what followed after was kind of like just a snowball just going down.
Will you talk about that? Because I feel like, a lot of people, you say H1Z1, a lot of people know that. A lot of people don't know that, okay, DayZ came out as a mod for Arma, and then that's what kind of, spawned that genre. And then, like you said, the War Z just saw the DayZ mod and made it really easily accessible. Like, here, just get the game. You don't have to mod anything. You don't have to install anything.
Right.
But so what happened with War Z when it kind of changed hands, or that you're aware of?
Oh, when it went from War Inc. to War Z?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
after War Z.
After War Z, how did it progress?
Yeah.
Well, basically, War Z was initially a survival game. Kind of tried to be like DayZ, and the community itself, it evolved past something completely different. The community got better. People got better at shooting, and it just evolved into a straight PvP game. The survival aspect kind of went behind and was like, okay, the community was like, nope, and everybody just wanted to PvP and battle, and that's what it became, like a PvP fest.
And then they had to change names, right? Because this was back in the day when that Brad Pitt movie came out.
Something happened. I don't know the specifics because I don't think anybody knows unless you're privy to it. But I think they got sued for having the name War Z. I'm not positive, so but they had to change their name, in which they picked Infestation Survivor Stories. But then I think to myself, I'm I don't know, I get into conspiracies, where I'm like, did they really do that, or were they trying to change their name, after the Steam incident, because they got pulled off of Steam, their game, because they quote unquote lied in their description. And I was thinking, did they change their name to escape that name? So it's really
so there's definitely a checkered past with War Z. Can you talk about what they misled people about in when they released on Steam, the expectations that you remember?
From what I remember, they advertised that there was a lot in the game that wasn't in the game. So on Steam, they would say, yada, 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 all these cool features. And then people would get the game and none of these features would be in the game. They were just kind of, it was kind of fooling people into buying it, kind of.
Got it. And
so you can see how this game has hate.
Yeah. So
people on Steam, you see all the down votes. You literally you'll have a blast just scrolling down and reading all that stuff that people say.
Oh, the rage reviews, people raging and getting salty. So then I just want to bring current people up to date because it's been a really unique trail for the War Z. So to go from I didn't even know what was it called, War Inc. before.
Yeah, but it wasn't a survival game. It was just a shooter game.
Got it. So it evolved from that to War Z. Then War Z changes its name, and then they sold the game, right?
I don't know the specifics, but Infestation kind of stopped development.
Mm-hmm.
It died off. The game pretty much died, and it was blowing up in Thailand. Thailand it's insane. It is so popular in Thailand. My whole YouTube channel is based off Thailand. All Thailand people watching it. It's insane. They can't watch Twitch, but YouTube they can watch. So.
Well, you had mentioned to me, off camera that ISS is so big. You mentioned that it's available. It's like in stores. Tell me, like the core. You put it. I don't want to put the words in your mouth, but you're like, hey, it's so convenient that you see it here.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like how like Call of Duty is, on I don't know if it's on Monster, it's on one of the energy
Yeah, like
drinks,
Mountain Dew or Doritos, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you go into Thailand, this game Infestation, which is like if I'm being honest, like people look at it as a joke in America and Europe, because it's like they did development, it's just went downhill, blah. In Thailand, they develop it, they work on it, it blew up, and you can literally walk into 7-Elevens and get like cards to get skins for your character and crazy. You can walk into a bank and get things. It's insane. So it's everywhere. It's the #1 game played in Thailand. It's insane.
And so we're gonna talk about how that's kind of you'd mentioned it has a huge effect on your YouTube channel. But we're gonna talk about the evolution of that, in particular, about your community. But before we kind of get into the interview and the getting to know you, I want to find out for people that don't know, what do you play on your channels and both YouTube, or what do you post on YouTube, and what do you stream a lot of? What games do you play on camera?
I mostly play H1Z1 battle royales, and I play a lot of Infestation still. I think a reset's coming with battle royale, so I'm going to be focusing big time on battle royale that's coming out because the leaderboards are going to get wiped, and it's going to be a battle for the top. So I think I'll be focusing mainly on H1Z1.
Got it. And what's your schedule like in terms of how often you're streaming? So if someone wants to see one of the best, survival competitive. Like competitive, it's such a weird genre to define, but a competitive zombie survival game. When can they watch you play?
I'm usually streaming 10 a.m. Eastern to about 4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
But it varies when I go to France. When I go to France, I start 2 hours earlier.
Got it. Okay.
And end 2 hours earlier. So.
Okay, cool. So that's what you play on camera. When you're not on camera playing games, or you're not on stream playing games, are you playing any games offline for fun, or you just get away from the computer?
No, I'm gaming 24/7.
Okay.
I play me and my lady, we play a lot of Diablo 3 and World of Warcraft.
Okay.
We're addicts in those games.
Very cool. What
complete addicts.
Really?
Yeah.
What type of character are you playing in World of Warcraft right now?
I play every character.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, but my favorite is probably Death Knight. I know probably people might cringe to that because Death Knights are, looked down upon kind of. I play Death Knights and I play Rogue.
So when you play WoW, do you guys play like as like a way to like spend couple time together? Do you guys do PvE or do you do PvP, or is that
we do arenas 24/7?
That's a dumb question.
We're competitive still.
Of course you play
arenas. Like I'm talking like 1,000 games a week.
Have you ever considered streaming your PvP arenas?
Not really. It's kind of like me and my lady's special thing. We really enjoy these games. And if you bring it in, it kind of feels like you're giving away that kind of magic. Because it's special.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. It's like your time. Like it'd be like you guys, watching a movie. You wouldn't necessarily stream that or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I show my character off. Like my stream will ask, they'll be like, "Oh, let me see your WoW character or your Diablo character." So I show them.
Nice.
With my character.
That's cool, and that's cool that you guys are able to game together. And we're going to talk about your girlfriend a little bit and how you met her in the interview part. So outside of Diablo and WoW, when you're playing with your girlfriend, is there anything else? Any consoles? Any handhelds? Or are you just?
No, it's pretty much Diablo. Like Blizzard games. Pretty much.
Do you mess with Hearthstone at all?
No, I haven't touched that. I'm scared of it. It's just like numbers get scary to me. I see people playing like. I feel like I'd be just like dumb as hell playing that,
I think you'd be really good at it. I mean, it's like the easiest access competitive game. Like you can play it from your phone, from your bed. I think you would really like it, but I would be scared because I could see you opening that can of worms and then just rising to the ladder, Then
just getting really competitive.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Well, cool. So speaking of, you have a really competitive streak in you that's a lot of fun to watch because you find a way to make every, tense moment a lot of fun, and your competitiveness shines through in your stream, but not in a abrasive way, that puts down others or that's not fun to watch. But where does that competitive nature come from in you? Did it start as a kid? Because that's something that has had to come at some point for you, or have you always been like that?
I just think I come, I know we're gonna talk about early life, but I got a twin brother, I got an older brother, And when you got brothers, you get that competitiveness kind of, like you gotta. It's like it's like a wolf pack. You
Yeah.
gotta fight for hierarchy.
So let's talk about that. So talk about where you grew up. Say like early childhood that you can remember.
Okay.
Where did you call home as like a young kid? Call it like grade school type time in your life.
Well, I grew up in Michigan, where you're from.
Yeah.
Lions.
Yeah.
I grew up in Westland, Michigan. You
Really?
know where that is? Yeah,
Okay.
Westland, Michigan.
Yeah.
Have you ever been through Westland? You see, there's a skate land there,
Yeah.
and there's Mickey's golf course. Like it's around there. That's exactly where I grew up, right in that area. So
Okay.
it's pretty popular there. It's like if you're from Westland or the area.
Okay.
So grew up in Michigan pretty much, and then I have a sister, twin brother, older brother, and my twin, and we just all my brothers were all big into video games. Man, we grew up like playing Sonic. Chrono Trigger was like huge in my family. Like all my brothers loved it. We were huge into RPGs. Final Fantasy VII was big. So I come from that, that generation where Final Fantasy VII, Chrono Trigger. I grew up through that. Donkey Kong. I heard you playing the Donkey Kong. Yeah, I grew up through that generation. So
yeah. So let's talk about that. So you grew up in Westland, and you grew up with a twin brother. Does your twin brother, and right now you live in Florida? Does your twin brother? Where does he live now?
My twin brother lives in Tallahassee in Florida.
Okay.
He goes to school to Tallahassee.
Have you ever been on stream and is your twin brother, he's identical, right?
He's no, he's fraternal.
Okay, fraternal. So like he could walk in the back door.
Yeah,
Have you ever done that where like you freaked out your stream with you and your brother?
No, I've never done it. People will sometimes wonder because sometimes like, I'll have mood swings a little bit and people will make jokes like, oh, it's his twin, playing. I'm like, no, I'm not identical. It doesn't make sense.
If he was
we
there,
look a lot like.
If he was there right now, would we have a tough time identifying like the difference?
If I put on my glasses, we would look real like, I got glasses, and if you seen him, we would look pretty much, the same. So I would say I'm a little bigger than him though.
Okay, all right. So you grew up, and you mentioned that you grew up in a competitive environment with your brothers. What do you remember as your first gaming experience? I know you mentioned Sonic, but do you remember the first time, maybe you and your twin brother sat down and hashed out? What's your earliest gaming memory?
My earliest gaming memory, let me think real quick. It would probably have to be probably Mario, the first Mario, if I can remember. Go back to the Ninja Turtles on the old Nintendo. Mm-hmm. We used to go over to my aunt's place, and they had a Nintendo, and we'd just go over there and play it. Just play Mario and Ninja Turtles and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was big on Nintendo back in that day.
Yeah, no, I remember
so
that.
We begged our mom. We were like, gotta get us a game, and eventually she got us a Sega that came with Sonic, and it was after that, man, I was like hooked.
Nice. So when you're growing up in grade school in Westland, what type of student were you, and what was your like school life like?
Well, I would say I was a really bad student. I would say that. Not like too bad though. I just I don't know. I would say that I got in a lot of fights growing up. I was just,
you got in a lot like fist fights.
Oh yeah, got in a lot. I was a brawler. I was in a lot of fights, and that just lived that growing up. Just
like
was crazy.
Would you fight in school or would you fight after school in the playground?
I would fight in school.
In school.
Yeah.
So like, were you like? Did you have a hot temper?
Constantly suspended.
Really?
Yeah, actually. You know what? I'll be honest, man. Throughout school, I actually went through like anger management classes, a whole lot of that stuff, So that was interesting, and it did work.
What would you remember? Like, did you go through it in high school, or was it like in grade school, and you're like in these classes where they're helping you with that?
I would say in elementary is when I went through that, and my principals were really, really good. They were really nice to me, and I was fortunate to have like really good principals where they didn't like, they weren't like, okay, this kid is a screw up, forget him. Basically my principal would pinpoint, and what he did was, if I'm being honest, like I didn't know back then what he was doing exactly, but he would put me as like an assistant, to help him and help. And what it did is it made me kind of, I don't know, it educated me faster. I was around adults and I kind of grew out of it real quick. And so my principals helped me that way.
Do you remember anything that happened where it's like that you would get corrected on? Like, did you just find yourself like seeing red really quick?
No, I can't really recall too much, man. I didn't like start fights. People would it would just end up, with fist fights, on recess.
So,
and it wasn't like I was a bully or something. I would literally, most of the time I was defending someone. I saw someone get picked on, And I was like, I can remember, like just be like, this ain't right. I would defend people and, have their back. And then it ended up me getting in trouble and getting in trouble. And,
Got it. So you weren't walking up to kids and just popping them. There was usually a reason
never.
behind it.
I
All
would
right.
never do that.
So that
Even like angry, I wouldn't do that.
so
My
then
mom would whoop me.
did your brother, was he in a similar way? Were there like two versions of you going through grade school just popping kids, or was he more chill?
No, I would say my brother was way more chill. I would say he's the smarter one,
Okay.
He had like the art side of the brain, or whatever they say. He was very into school, good grades, and my whole family was like that, except for me.
As a kid, when you were kind of going through this like anger management, and you knew like the principals were helping you out, did you realize what was going on? Like, did you know like they were trying to help you, or is it just like this is how it is when I go to school?
Kind of. I could see that they were the ways they were, put me in a they were putting me in a structure, where it just made me feel more responsible, and therefore, I kind of smartened up real quick
Yeah.
through school. You know what I mean? I could definitely think back. I remember thinking back then. I knew what they were doing, kind of.
So at what age do you feel like you kind of like grew out of that, or what like grade time was it? Like middle school? Was it in high school?
I would say high school.
Okay, so you go to
Like
high
the first year of high school, it was just all that kind of stuff just went out the window.
out the window. So when did you grow up in Michigan your entire life? When did you move? When did you leave Michigan?
I left Michigan, I believe, when I was about fifth grade.
Okay,
With the first grade through fifth was in Michigan, and then at the end of fifth grade, my middle school started in Florida.
got it.
It was like a culture shock, like going from Michigan, used to the people you're growing up to, then boom, in middle school, Florida, not knowing anybody. It was crazy,
So
but it was cool.
we skipped over something that I wanted to ask you about because you and I have talked about this a little bit. Is
Okay.
that you said you spent some time in the hospital as a kid?
Yes.
Will you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I recently saw that you had, you did a big gaming event for Children's Hospital in Detroit. And when I was born, my lungs collapsed. I was born just fragile. And, I believe the first 3 months I spent in the hospital, like the first 3 months as a baby. And then my first 3 years of growing up was in the hospital, had really, really bad asthma, just really bad. And then, when you start going through the clear, when I was about at age 11, we found out that my heart had a problem. So then I had to go in for heart surgery in Children's Hospital, and I had a narrowing of the aorta. Basically, my aorta valve had it was smaller than it should have been. Like it was, I don't know, something was really, there was like kind of like a hole, and a little bit was shortened in it, and they had to go in and pretty much just open it up and let blood flow through.
How did you figure that out? Like, was there an episode when you like did you collapse, or like how did they find that? Do you remember?
My mom found it. We were at Cedar Point. I remember we were at Cedar Point in Ohio. It was just like,
Tell people
no
what
big
Cedar
deal,
Point
going on
is.
roller coasters.
Tell people what Cedar Point are, because you and I know what Cedar Point is, being from the Midwest. But tell people what Cedar Point is.
Cedar Point is basically a place that has like roller coasters, rides. It's like that. It's like a Six Flags, like
Yeah.
a big place. And I was there, and everybody was having fun, and I was getting short of breath. I was running out of oxygen, and I remember my mom like stopping me and saying, something's wrong with him. He's like, he's always got blue in his lips, and he's not looking good. And some people might have thought it was my asthma, but she could see it was something else. So my mom took me in to my cardiologist, Dr. Ross. And he did a full exam, and they found out that I believe I had it at birth. It was, since I was born, it was like that. They just missed it.
So age 11, I mean, they're cutting you open heart surgery.
Yep.
And then
Heart surgery. No, I had closed heart surgery actually.
it was closed. So they scoped in.
They went through my ribs.
Oh God.
It was a brand new technique that they were doing, and they went in. They cracked open my ribs and went through my ribs and worked on it.
So during this time, do you remember being laid up as a kid? Like, did you miss school? Did it happen during the summer?
I missed school. Because of it. And it actually, the best part of the whole story is that at the time we did not know that I was allergic to morphine. So I get heart surgery, and they give me morphine, and my brain waves completely shut down, like coma mode. Like I was out. And, thankfully my mom saved me because they wanted to give me more morphine. They thought that I was like, because I could still, at some point when I would wake up, I could still look at people, but I was not able to do anything because my brain waves were just not there.
Is
So
your
they
mom
thought I was just mad.
is
They
your
thought I
mom
was
in the
mad.
medical field, or is she just like tuned into everything that was going on?
She wasn't into the medical field too much then, but she is a heart nurse now, which is,
Oh, that's great.
translation. She works for the cardio department.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So you recover from this heart surgery. How did that affect your high school life? Were you limited in terms of like things you were able to do?
Yeah, yep, I wasn't able. I was, back then I wanted to play football, wasn't able to play it, wasn't able to lift weights. I'm not still not able to lift weights too much because I was born with bi I have like so much wrong with me. You see why I'm like playing video games. I'm sitting here playing video games, No, I have bicuspid valves. You're usually born with tricuspids, where it pumps blood.
Hmm.
So I was born with two, and it's pretty bad to strain your heart when you only have two valves pumping blood. So
That's good. Does your
pretty
brother
much I'm an alien.
does your brother have any similar
Nah,
issues?
he's just,
He's like, yeah,
vision's
no
a little
problem, no
bad.
surgery for me. I'm good, man.
You got the good genes.
So okay, so your high school life is so you're limited physically what you're like literally allowed to do. So
Yeah.
what was your high school life like? Were you in the like arts? Did you just like get in and get out? Like what type of student were you in high school?
High school, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'll be real with you, okay? In
Yeah.
high school, I was skipping school and playing video games. I wasn't in tune to school. I wasn't doing the same thing people were doing. I got into this game called Dark Age of Camelot, which was like an
Yeah.
MMO.
Yeah, there was
I
like the
was,
three realms and
yeah,
it was a competitive
yeah,
online game. Yeah.
I was addicted to it, man, and it kind of, I was sick all the time, so I just didn't even want to go into school. So, ended up dropping outish sophomore. Um, well, there's a long story about that.
Well, no,
Uh,
I mean, well, obviously, I'm going to ask you about it if you want to talk. If you'll talk.
well, there was a big mess up where I I threw a hockey puck at my teacher. I forgot about this. Yep.
Real quick, whatever Dakota's about to say in terms of throwing things at,
It's embarrassing
at
saying
people that work in the education field, don't do this. But I definitely want to hear what happened. So you threw a hockey puck at a teacher?
Yeah, his name is
It's
Mr.
not.
Andrews.
It's not funny, but tell me.
I know it's not. I hit his shoulder, and it was a big ordeal happened in my school, and
Wait, were
pretty
you in the
much
classroom or was it outside of school?
it was in classroom. I got pulled out of basically left school because there was a whole thing going on. Ultimately I probably would have been kicked out. And the great part of the story is my mom was a nurse with his wife
Wait,
on the same floor.
hold on. You can't just skip over that. Number
Okay.
one, why do you have a hockey puck with you in school?
I don't know. Actually, I didn't. It wasn't mine. Someone gave it to me that day. Like somehow I ended up with it in math class. I remember, and then I carried it with me. And my teacher embarrassed me in front of my class. He moved me. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'll explain it. I got moved out of my class. It was oceanology. Got moved out of my class to another period. He put me with seniors. I got moved out because I was talking too much with my friends. That ordeal. Get moved into a senior class. He's really like picking on me, making me embarrassed in front of seniors, and I just raged. I went back to my anger and I threw something. I didn't injure him. He's okay. It kind of like ricocheted. It didn't even do anything that bad, but it was over at that point.
So, so you essentially assaulted a teacher with
Yeah.
athletic equipment, and
Yeah.
then at that point, like you go home, like did your mom just lay into you, or like what happened?
Yeah, I can't remember full completely, because it's been a while. But I got in trouble big time, I got in serious trouble.
Okay, so then at that point, you said you kind of dropped out of school.
Yep,
So
went through exit programs, like dropout exit programs they have set up here.
what I don't know what is that?
Well, basically, when you get in trouble, there was a school here. I won't mention the school name, but they have these programs where for people that get kicked out of school or in trouble, you go through them to essentially get your diploma and stuff. So.
Okay. How and then did it take you? So if let's say you said you left school roughly as a sophomore. How long were you in that exit program or exit school?
About 2 years. 2 years.
Okay. And was it set up the same way? Like you go to school and
You get one teacher the whole time. It was a little bit different, but he would teach essentially everything.
got it.
And they were good teachers.
Did you find yourself more successful in that environment?
Yeah, I felt more connected with the teacher. It was shaped on helping you. Like they were kind of one on one with you. Trying to really make you pass through. And get through.
Got it.
Basically.
And so did you finish? Did you go all the way through?
Went all the way through, yeah.
Okay. I can't imagine, getting kicked out of school or leaving school didn't go over well, but then like your mom said, "Hey, you got to finish this."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. She wouldn't let me just not do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
So, okay, so we talked about, you leave school, you end up with your diploma. One of the things that you mentioned, you said you would ditch school to play Dark Age of Camelot. And I know Dark Age of Camelot it was an MMO with 3 different factions, and it was kind of unique for the time. Like, you would fight over territory, and it was highly competitive. Is that really the first taste of like an online competitive game that you can remember?
No, I played a game before that was by the same company. They're called Mythic Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a game before that called Splatterball, and it was on American Online. You remember American Online? You
Yeah.
connect. Well,
yeah.
you could actually go to like keyword. You know how you go to keywords back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to keyword Splatterball, and you could play a game by using up your hours on American Online.
Yeah.
You know, like literally would charge you hour by hour. That's how it was back then. So I played Splatterball, got to #1 in that game.
Like in the nation?
Yeah, out of everybody, I got #1.
Wait, and what was Splatterball? I
leaderboards.
never played it, but what was it?
Splatterball was a old school Counter-Strike, but with paintball.
Okay.
You know, you would fight. It was kind of like, I guess, Quake-ish. You know, it was the kind of format, but with paintball stuff.
Okay.
It was awesome. I loved it.
So that was your first recollection of like an online competitive game.
Was it. I got sucked into it, man. I was constantly checking the leaderboards. I was like, oh my God, this guy's #3. He's beating me. Stay up all night, you know? And then I would not go to school because of that. You know, I'd be so addicted to it.
But let me say, where did that drive come from? Like, did you just, like, what made you drawn to that? Because things you just said just now about Splatterball, you said 10 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago about H1Z1 and with the leader, you're like, when the leaderboard gets reset, like, I can't wait. I'm going to, like, where was that just always inside of you? Was there something around you that was that competitive?
I think it's, I've seen people in school doing competitive stuff and being able to do it, and I couldn't do it. And here I finally found something where, I was competing and doing things, and it felt so good to like get recognition, and people know who you were. It was awesome. I loved it.
Do you remember what your AOL screen name was? Everyone has one that's super embarrassing, so I'm putting you on the spot for sure.
Let me think real quick. I think it was like WWE or WWF fan one, something crazy. Something crazy like that.
So for you, I mean, this was your competitive outlet because, it's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it draws back to what you weren't able to do here. You excelled at in another way, online. And so you can, like, do you remember waking up and like checking the leaderboards and?
Oh yeah. Oh, as soon as I woke up, I would have it open. So when I woke up, I could see it instantly. I was like, get back into it. It was insane. It's been like this in every game I played, pretty much.
So with that being like your first highly competitive experience online, what did like your brothers and your ma think of that? Like, did they know what was going on? Did they know that you were at the top of the leaderboard? Did they know that you were that obsessed with it? Or did they just kind of like, oh, he's on the computer?
My brothers would play it too.
Mm-hmm.
They were, they would, up until the end of high school, we were playing the same games. We were addicted to the same things. So they were kind of with me. We were all playing it, addicted. So back before we had 2 computers, we'd have to share a computer. My brothers would be like, "It's all right, your hour's up, get off," and we'd have to like do stuff like that.
Did you ever tell your
sister, man? She never got to get on the computer.
No. Did anyone ever pick up the phone in the middle of one of your Splatterball games?
Oh my God, yeah. I would just scream. I'd be like, "What? I was in a game!" Like back then, it was all like that noise.
So did you ever tell your ma, like, hey, I'm at the #1 leaderboard in Splatterball, or did you never? You did? Did she get it? Definitely. How did she respond to that?
She just thought it was cool, she liked it. She wasn't against it ever. She was happy,
So you would say like she's generally supportive that you were.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
Cool. So that was your first experience. Then was there anything between that and Dark Age of Camelot that you remember being like that highly competitive?
Nah, it went straight. The beta came out. Because I was playing Splatterball, they gave me a beta.
Okay.
And then I went into that. And that was insane for me. Back when I was playing like Splatterball. I was just moving. It was kind of 2D, 3D, kind of like in between. And then I loaded into my first ever MMO where I could look around and see trees and skies, and my mind just, I heard the music, the Celtic music was playing. My mind exploded. I didn't even want to play another game after that.
When's the last time you heard the intro music to Dark Age of Camelot?
Probably a month ago or so.
Oh, so
I still have my account.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I still got my character and my account. I still get on it. Seriously.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that game never leaves me, man. I love that game.
So
I don't play it like crazy, but I just get into nostalgia.
So when that came out, were you able to like hone in on the competitive aspect of that, and then did you start like tracking and being as obsessed with that as you were Splatterball?
Yeah, I played a Nightshade, and if anyone played Dark Age of Camelot, it was kind of like WoW, it's a rogue, but there's a little bit of magic with that class. So basically there was a leaderboards on that too. You could be. I would always try to be the number one Nightshade, and I eventually got it. In my server. So I competed. I played 24/7 PvP and got to number one in that. So that was exciting.
And you said that was for you to ditch school was the primary motivation?
I would say so, yeah.
So then when you do that and you'd go home and you'd play, like was that like your thing? Like did you know did you think that was the difference between getting to the top and not getting to the top? Or you just
Oh yeah. Commitment, like time put in. Like I can remember my friends would always come to the door and knock on the door asking me to come, play, go out and hang out. And I'd always tell my mom like, "I'm not here. I'd be like dodging everybody just to play. That was the life right then.
So if you had to guess what your / played is, or your time played in Dark Age of Camelot, what do you think it would say?
Probably 200 days played.
Really?
Yeah, it's not too bad actually.
No, I was
compared. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Have you've kept your account open since? Is it the exact same account?
Yeah, same exact account.
How old is that account?
2000, year 2000 or so.
So you have a 16-year-old MMO.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that I've kept.
After the show, will you tweet out like a picture of your character?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I can't. I mean, at no point are you like, all right, I'm going to cancel this.
Well, yeah, I canceled it for a long time.
Okay.
There would be times where I'd go play WoW. It's just I bring it back just once in a while for nostalgic reasons because I miss it. Okay. I miss those times.
All right, so then you're playing Dark Age of Camelot. You finish the exit program. So now you have your equivalent of high school diploma. Then what happens in your life? Like then what do you do? Are you like hanging out at home? Are you like playing? I'm trying to think what came out after that. WoW.
Basically, no life in it. World of Warcraft came out in 2004. And that was the end of my life right there.
So, like, did you have a job, or were you just like straight in the basement, I
didn't have a job for a while, but yeah, I wouldn't say I didn't have a job for a while, just straight basement. I wasn't in a basement though, but yeah.
In your room, you just know. The thing I love about you're honest. You're like, yeah, there's just no life in it. I mean, like,
just got no life, man. Literally gaining weight, eating cheeseburgers, and just no life in it.
Okay, so 2004 WoW comes out. At what point? So you're just no lifing it until what point? Like when did you like I got to do something different or?
Okay, well I'll explain it real quick. So basically I'm playing World of Warcraft. I'm in a guild. I find a guild, and it's like this guild becomes just awesome, man. I love this guild. The people in it, man. I've actually met them in real life.
Will you give them a shout? Do you want to shout out the guild, or you want to keep it like under?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Their guild name was Vismayer. Mm-hmm. And they played on Boneshire, and they were number one in the server.
Surprise!
Yeah, I'm not like number one. That's a team effort. But it was cool, man. It was really cool being in a guild. Like we were hardcore. Like this is back 40 mans. All that. It was awesome, man. It was really fun.
So I mean, and I would say surprise in a way, like that's who you are. Like if you were to say, hey, we're in the 10th best guild on their server, I'd be like, I would never expect you to say that, So you're in this number one guild. You said you met some people in real life off that.
Yep, I met a group of them. There was a group. There was four. There was a bit. It was a big guild, and there was a group of college friends in that guild, and I met them. A couple of them, like through a party. They had like a Halloween party. So me and my brothers played the game. We were all in the same guild, and we went up together and seen them.
And like, let's say that was like 06, 07, somewhere in there?
Well, actually, when I met them was later in life. I met them like probably 2009 or something.
Okay.
It was much later past WoW.
Was that...
I quit Burning Crusade. I quit the first expansion. I quit playing WoW, kind of.
Was that the first time you'd met anyone in person that you met online?
Yes. Well, Actually, no. I met someone. I met a friend that was a. I met a person through WoW, and I met him, and him and his friends were like snowboarders. So they invited me to come to Tahoe, and but that didn't really work out because fights ensued, and I only stayed a little bit. So, but that was really fun. I worked at Sierra Nevada in Tahoe, and I met that guy through WoW.
Wait, you moved to
Just for a short period, a really short period.
Okay, and you had a job there?
Yeah, I worked as a lift operator.
Wait, tell me that. So you go from no lifing it in WoW, and then you're like, okay, here's some friends I made in WoW, and then you guys like made plans to move there and work, or did they already live there and had a job?
Well, they do it seasonal. They I think they lived in like Almeida, Oakland, that area, and the season was coming up where they all go work at Sierra, and they invited me, so I went up. But it was very short lived. I mean, it was like less than a month, man. It just didn't work out. I didn't mesh well with all the roommates. So
wait, so did you pack up and take a flight, or did you drive?
I just went for it, man. I went on a plane, went there. It was scary as heck because I never ventured out, but it was cool. It was really cool. The culture there was really cool. If no one's been to the Bay Area, they call it.
Is that where you?
I was literally, I'd end up like in an attic where people were battling each other with hip hop. I'd be sitting there. I'm like, what am I like? Where did I go from like playing WoW to up in an attic and people are like doing hip hop in the road and in attics? It was really cool.
So you said you lived in a house with all these guys and it didn't end up working out?
Yeah, it just was. We were all like in Tahoe. We were all cramped in. I was sleeping on a floor, like a wooden floor. There was no bed. Like for the first couple days, my pillow was literally like my jeans. It was like seriously like surviving.
So you're literally just, you moved out and you're like, all right, what were you eating? What were you eating? Like peanut butter sandwiches or nothing?
No, I just eat normal food. I mean, I had money, in my bank account, so it wasn't that like that. It just, we didn't go to the store and get pillows right away. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So you're there for a month. What drove you to leave? Because that's your first time, I would say, being independent on your own. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, just had a dispute with someone there, and it didn't work out. It wasn't anything like too bad of a fight. We just didn't get along, and I knew that I had to leave because it just wasn't going to work. I was causing it was just being a problem with the other group, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get out of here. This just ain't working out. I left.
Did you bring a computer with you?
No.
Did you like miss that at all? Did you feel like you didn't?
No, I didn't miss it.
So you went from like no lifing it for a couple years, and you're just like cold turkey. I'm out, or I'm working the ski lift.
Maybe like subconsciously I missed it, and that's why I left to come back.
Okay. So you come back to Florida. What year is this roughly, if you had to like ballpark?
I would say 2007 maybe.
Okay. Ish. So 2007 comes back. Do you get a job, or do you go like slide right back into that? No.
I tried to get back into gaming, and it just wasn't really happening for me. I kind of fell out and felt like I wasn't good anymore. So I got a job at, you ever heard of Movie Gallery? It's like a Blockbuster, same thing.
Okay.
So I worked at a Blockbuster essentially, and just, played a little bit of WoW casual, as they say.
Okay.
And played, worked at Blockbuster. And then I got a job in the restaurant business, and it was goodbye, video games for a while. Literally working at a bar restaurant, and I got sucked into that life of like the restaurant life. If anyone works at a restaurant, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, our first guest, that's how he started. It was in the restaurant life because he said it's good money, but then you're there. What was the restaurant you worked in? Was it like one we'd know?
I mean, if you're in Florida, it's called Ale House. It's a popular brand in Florida.
Okay.
It's basically like bar food, and there are some meals and stuff.
So were you a bartender? Were you a waiter? I
was a server.
Okay, you're a server. What was that like? Did you feel like you excelled at that? Were you competitive in that?
I wasn't really competitive. It was something I was passionate about. I really enjoyed talking to families. I really enjoyed just talking to people. I love this. Something I found that I loved. I love just meeting. I worked on International Drive in Florida, which is like where SeaWorld, Universal, Disney World, it's all in that area. And I would meet lots of families coming in that were from anywhere. And it was really awesome, like meeting people. And I don't know, I loved that job. I really loved it.
Okay. So you're working no, keep going.
Oh, and I actually started there when it was created. So all the servers that started, we were all the first generation of that store. So it's like I was born with that store. We were all together from the ground up.
Yeah. So like,
cool. Yeah. Cool
so on opening day, like you're the OG server, you're there,
And
And
everyone was the same for about a year in that restaurant. We all were the same crew. It was awesome.
and then what happened for
People, you
you?
know,
When did you
for me,
decide to say like I'm out?
well, basically, um, I was living with my brother and my other brother Larry. We were all living in this. My twin brother was a cook at this place, so
Okay.
me and him worked at the same place. My older brother was working in restaurants too, on the same strip, but
Okay.
different restaurant than us, than me and my brother. So we're all like working on the same iDrive, and
That
we're all living together.
that
And
had to
then,
be awesome. Like you could like grab like you could go on break and see each other.
oh
And
my god, it was cool because if I ever messed up on my order, I go straight to my brother because he was the lead line cook. And I'd be like, yo, I messed up, dude. And he'd crank it out real quick. He'd have my back, you know?
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Or people would come up to me and be like, yo, you know, I messed up. Can you tell your twin, you know, to hook it up? So, you know, I was like that kind of thing.
So you'd say you're good at your job. You enjoyed your job.
Yeah.
So then, what caused you to leave?
Well, basically, my mom got a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Not with my dad, but another man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, first of all, let me back it real quick. I ended up in Florida because my dad and my mom split.
Okay.
Came to Florida because my grandpa would take care of us while my mom went to school for nursing.
Got
So
it.
I skipped over that whole part. So my mom was going through nursing while my grandpa was taking care of all of us and helping us get through the rough time.
Mm-hmm.
So then my mom gets a divorce when I'm working at Ale House, and I felt really bad for her, you know, like she's, you know,
Yeah.
and I go to stay with her. I go to be with her, you know, make sure she got that rally of family, you know, like that I got her back. And then I start playing. I get this game, you know. I remember me and my brother got the game together. It was called Warzy, and this is how it all starts. I start playing Warzy with my brother. We're literally in this room. I'm playing with my twin brother on the right of me, and we're landing, you know. And I play the game, and this is how the story starts. How I get addicted. He's got a hammer, I got a hammer, and the guy has an M16. And we're stalking this guy for like 20 minutes. We're stalking him, trying to get to him, you know. And we both decide we're gonna chase him and get to him. We run up and we both start hitting him. And my brother dies, and I live. And I felt like this rush, man. I was like, I've never felt this before. Like the anxiety, the whatever it was feeling. And I got addicted to this game. I started looking up YouTubes of people that playing it. I found Twitch by accident. I found people on Twitch.
How did you find Twitch?
Well, I guess I was looking at people's YouTubes, and I saw them talking about this Twitch, and I was like, God, what is this? You know, what is this Twitch? And I started watching the community playing this game. And back then it was, you guys know Summit 1G.
Mm-hmm.
He was big in this game, Warzy. And I was watching his channel, and I was like, wow, you know, like I was getting inspired by these streamers. I was like, this is awesome, man. People are battling people, and people are watching them and cheering them on. Like that's what I want to do. I want to do that, you know.
Do you remember roughly when this was? Like what year?
Yeah, it was 2013 of January.
Okay. So 2013 13 in January. You're seeing these guys duke it out.
Twitch. Yeah, I'm watching. I watch Summit, some other people like this guy named QMG Saint.
Mm-hmm.
You met him.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching his stream, and I just got, man, I was so inspired by them. I was blown away at this streaming thing.
Did you, when you saw them play, did you ever kill them before you started streaming? Did you ever kill them? Did you know that you would be as good as them, or were you like a scrub back then?
I was so bad, man. I was playing World of Warcraft. I was playing, you know, Diablo. I wasn't playing shooter games. I've never gone into the shooter genre really, except for Splatterball, which is completely different. Yeah. So when I went at this game, I was terrible. But I was watching these guys, and man, I was just blown away. You know, they were killing people, and I was like, wow. You know, I wanted to be them. I wanted to do what they were doing.
So then at what point were you like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot? What was that like for you? Do you remember that moment? You're like, here we go.
Yes. I was like, okay, I started researching it. I wanted to do it right. You know, I didn't want to just like load up my stream and like, hey guys, you know, it's just like, hey guys, I'm here. You know, I started watching their formats, what they're doing. I noticed that, you know, a lot of them had similar times they were streaming. So I knew that I wanted to pick my spot. You know, I started eyeballing where not a lot of streamers were streaming because, you know, I didn't want to just stream and not get any people watch me, you know?
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and eventually I got addicted to it. You know, the first couple times I thought I was going to quit. I don't know, I just felt awkward, like being on camera, people watching me. It was really weird, you know? And then people started coming back to my stream and being super nice, and I met a couple people, and it just evolved into this, like, you know, small community that just blossomed into this talking to people, and I got addicted to it. I was like, wow, this is really fun.
So do you remember when your first stream was?
Uh, I believe it was January 13th.
Okay, so January 13th. Where did Dakotaz come from?
Well, actually, I started Twitch on a name called Nerd Life. My name was Nerd Life. I
Nerd?
started. What?
Was it Nerd or N3?
Nerd.
Okay.
Nerd Life.
Okay.
And I started on this, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna be the Nerd Life, because that's basically what my life was, nerdy. And then my stream started growing, like 100 people were watching. And I was like, do I really want to be known as Nerd Life? I gotta change this quick before I get known as Nerd Life forever. So then I really loved the name Dakota. I just loved that name, and it was taken, so I just put a Z at the end of it.
Got it.
I know it sounds kind of like lame, but it's honest.
No, I mean, no, it's honest. I mean, we could be sitting here talking in Nerd Life instead of Dakotaz, but you're like, that's. I mean,
ask my friends. I'm like, is Dakotaz good? Does that sound good? I like it. I like the way it's called. Dakotaz.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's lame. It's terrible.
So you end Nerd Life. This is awesome because I never knew that. So then you start Dakotaz. You start your new channel, Dakotaz. You tell everyone, hey, come over, check the channel out. You're playing War Z at this time. Mm-hmm. At what point were you like, wow, this thing is like, it's growing, it's big, and
the first month it exploded. I got real lucky. I would say a lot of people. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people, streamers that was playing at that time, bigger streamers, they were quitting. So I think I got lucky that they were quitting. People were looking for people to watch, and I just happened to be someone that some people wanted to watch, and from there it just kind of blew up.
And when you're saying bigger streamers that quit, you're saying bigger streamers in your game that quit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was some big names that I guess they just weren't happy with War Z, so they stopped playing it.
Got it.
And then there was this big pool of people that, they didn't have anyone else to watch because that person stopped playing it, so they would find themselves going through the list, I think, and they end up in my channel. Thankfully, they stayed.
So one of the things I want to talk about is that, you've built your community around essentially, a very, very small handful of games that are all very similar. And for you, I know if I turn in your stream, I know exactly what I'm going to see. Was this I'm going to see, great gameplay. I'm going to see it's going to be funny, but I know it's, you're going to be competitive, but I know that you're going to be playing a specific genre of game. Now there's a lot of education on that. And it's been like there's a lot of business behind streaming, but back then,
right.
Did you make that? How did you come to that decision? Or was that just who you are?
To play those games?
Yeah, to stick, like, you weren't playing, like, Z and then playing Mario. You were, like...
Yeah, to stay committed and build a community?
Yeah, to one game or one really tight genre.
I just loved that game. I really think that I would never be a streamer if it wasn't for that game. I just loved the community. I loved the game, and I loved playing it. And, I still play to this day, and it evolved from that, just loving the game.
And one of the things that... I've noticed specifically about your community is that, you mentioned Thailand, and you mentioned that how big the game is in Thailand, and I know you wouldn't say this about yourself, but you're one of the best players of that game, and so people are naturally going to be drawn to you because of that and your personality. But your community is definitely, it's not 100% American. Can you talk about how you interact with that and how you think that happened?
I think it's mainly because of the time I started streaming. I would start streaming at 10 a.m. Well, back then I would stream at 8 a.m. Back when I was like the grind, I'd call it. When I was streaming 12 hours a day, every day, just no break. And it was 8 a.m. to like 4 p.m. or something. And I would say it started because it was just catered to European time. I wouldn't say that Thailand ever watched my stream too much. They always watched my YouTube. I don't think Twitch has a lot of Asian servers, so they're not able to have the good quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you think that if that were to happen when Twitch, because eventually it's going to happen, when Twitch becomes available in Thailand, are you prepared for that moment, or have you not thought about it, or are you just like...
I'm not sure if it's going to do anything to my stream, because I think a lot of people from Thailand, they just enjoy my YouTube, so I'm not sure if it's going to translate too much to my stream. Maybe, though. Who knows? I don't know, but... Okay. I don't think so. I think it'll stay the same,
Okay. And then, so as a broadcaster dealing with, a European and American community, how is that like for you? How do you manage that? Because it's not like...
It's eye-opening. I loved it. I mean, literally I had no knowledge of other countries
Mm-hmm.
coming into Twitch. I didn't know how to say words like, Polish people would teach me how to say dzień dobry. I learned how to say hello in all the languages. You know, Twitch has been like almost like a culture education for me because it connected me with people from other countries and just those things I never would think I would ever do, or end up living in Europe.
And so before, because I do want to talk about you living in Europe. Before we talk about that, have you found, how do you manage your community in the way that, anytime, you're in a different international stream or you have people coming in that speak different languages, how do you handle that? Do you embrace it? When someone comes in and talks in a different language, what do you do and how do you
Well,
I don't want to say control your stream's not the right word.
Yeah, we basically just enforce English in my stream. I'm an English. I don't know how to speak other languages, so it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We try to be polite about it, but some people, some people take offense if you only allow English in your chat. So you just try to tell people, look, man, this is all I speak. Sorry, man. I don't know other languages.
Yeah.
Can't help you.
So speaking of people and from different countries and other languages, we talked earlier about you meeting people, from World of Warcraft and your job in Aspen. And can you tell us about your current love interest and how that kind of blossomed? And
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I was streaming, playing ISS Infestation. It's called. Playing that every day. I met a lady because she made art for me, and her name happened to be Matilda, which is my lady. And she just started making art for my channel, just making it better, and it was really helping my channel. And it was an instant connection between me and her. And one thing, talking every day led to me getting on a plane, going to France, where she's from, and meet her in France, and everything's just everything I could imagine. And then ultimately ended up where me and her are going back and forth between U.S. and France because I only got my passport at this point. I can only stay in France for 3 months, and then I'm forced out of it. And it's likewise for her being in America. So we bounce back and forth, but eventually ended up with me getting my 1 year stay, so I can stay in France for a year.
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna be staying in France for a long time now.
So you met your girlfriend through Twitch, but not only do you meet your girlfriend, she's not even from the same country.
Right.
And it just so happens in your channel, in your community, you meet someone that's, perfect for you and that you enjoy being around. So with that, I mean, when you're saying so now you've been to France and back, and now you're going to go to France long term, how do you handle that streaming wise?
Well, when it first happened, you kind of just meet the person to see, is it going to work out in real life, because, the internet's the internet, what I mean? You never know what's going to happen. But, we were always 100% real. So we got in real life and it was just perfect. And so then I knew, I went the first time for 10 days and I knew that I was going to have to get my computer set up over there because, I didn't want to be apart from this lady, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I set up a whole new setup. I got a whole new setup in France, the exact is here, cloned it and just put it over there. So if I go back and forth, it's all set up for me.
Got it. And for you, do you still stream at the exact same times, even when you're in France?
I go a little bit earlier in France because
Okay.
the time difference. I'm able to kind of go 2 hours earlier and not be so tired. Because if I do it here, I'm waking up at 8 a.m. and I'm a night owl. So
Yeah.
waking up at 8 a.m. being a night owl, staying up till like 5 a.m. It's bad news.
So now that you've built your community, you have a really, really tight knit community, and you've kind of built this life that stems with Twitch. What does your family think about it? Like, how do you explain to them what you do and that how you met your girlfriend? Like, how do you tell them what you do for a living?
I don't think I will. Well, I think my brothers understand it because they know Twitch, they watch Twitch. So for them, they know. I
They
don't have to
stream
talk about
snipe
it.
you.
Yeah, my older brother stream snipes. So like that's what he does when he's at work. He's stream sniping me. But like, I don't know. I've always been really connected and talk about everything with my mom, so nothing was shocking or anything.
Mm-hmm.
She was for it, so everything's been smooth. They understand it. Like even my grandma understands streaming.
That's
I've
awesome.
explained it to her. Yeah, she knows it 100%.
So as we kind of wrap up things in terms of getting to know you and this part of the interview, taking away from Twitch, where do you think if you had never stumbled upon Twitch, how would you think your life would be different right now?
It'd be a lot different. I think Twitch really saved me, like saved my life. I would say that I was just serving tables, floating through life, kind of. Wasn't didn't know what I wanted to do, and I would say Twitch really saved me. I mean, it gave me passion for something to do for a living, and also finding my lady. It just was perfect somehow. Worked out.
Along the road, what's the toughest thing you experienced as a broadcaster that you learned from and overcame?
It would have to be my game dying out. Infestation, it's died out quite a bit, and I'd had to switch over to H1Z1, and it's really, really difficult for me. I don't know about other streamers, but for me, being so popular, and you don't really think about it. I start switching over to H1Z1, and it didn't translate the same. The people that liked watching War Z, they didn't like watching H1Z1. Most of them, I do still. I'm not trying to diss my community that's there, but a lot of them were like, nah, I don't like this game. I'm out of here. So it was really hard to see so many people just leave your stream. You're sitting there like, what did I do wrong? Am I terrible? Am I really that bad? And, you kind of just for me, I had to really, it was kind of depressed. It made me depressed a bit. And you have to like kind of dig down deep and understand it, step back and be like, all right, well, it's okay if people don't want to watch something. They don't want to watch something. If someone doesn't want to watch the show, they're not going to watch the show. So what I did was I tried to focus on the people that were there in my stream. I always thought, oh my God, there's 100 viewers. This is bad for me. You know what I mean? And that's a bad outlook. I've learned it's a bad outlook because I've actually found out that those 100 people, I started like paying attention more. The conversation was way better. It was more richer. The support was way more than having 1,000 people watching you, which for whatever reason, it just worked out that way for me because, a lot of people in my stream, not to diss them, but they would like tell me to say hello in their language, or it was, my chat was filled with that, like saying their language, and, switching really made me understand that like these people are, these people that stayed, they're the people that are, I missed out on this the first couple of years of stream. This is what it is. This is what like having a tight knit community is, and it's awesome.
That's awesome. That's very. I mean, that's awesome. I don't think you hear a lot of people talk about it from that angle. And I think it's awesome that you're able to kind of dig yourself out and realize that because there's a lot of people that enjoy watching you, and it would be a shame if you didn't. So last question I want to ask you is what has streaming taught you about yourself through the ups and downs and where you are today? Like, what's your big takeaway that you learned directly about yourself?
Probably to maybe not take myself so serious, be able to try to understand what people really write, like not for instance, like if someone writes something, I've learned to not just instantly read it and take it negative or positive, like really just read it and try to see what they're saying, instead of trying to like I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes it could come off negative, but maybe it's not negative, and that's what I've learned is just not try to read something and judge it.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Kind of like strip it away and be like, all right, this is his point of view. This is good. Try to understand it more. That's, been working on. So
yeah,
basically not be, I don't know the word.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I guess it was like snap judgment on a statement. I guess.
Right.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Dakota, because you've been extremely, extremely honest and open. And I know for some people, that's why I enjoy doing the show because, I've known you since for 3 years, and there's things that I just found out now that I never knew before. And I think a lot of people will learn from you. I think a lot of people, are drawn to you because of that openness. But now I don't want to say it gets a little easier, but it gets a little bit more lighthearted from here out in the show.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
I want to say something to any streamer that ever watches this on YouTube or watching now. I want to say something. Something that I learned really good. When you are streaming and someone negative comes in your chat and tries to spoil your fun, the best thing that I learned on Twitch that I just remembered is to focus on the good people, because it's so easy to focus on the negative people. It's so easy to forget that there's 100 people that are good watching you and focus on that one negative person, and it ruins the experience for everyone. And I'm speaking personal experience. Like sometimes my streams will turn out bad because I let one guy get to me, and it affects all the people that are there, for that love you, So the best thing I can say is just focus on the good people and try to just ignore it as much as you can.
Yeah.
I just want to say that real quick.
No,
Sorry.
real talk with Dakota. I like it, man. Oh, that's awesome. All right, cool. So we're gonna go to the next segment of the show, and for those guys that have never seen the show before, this section we call 21 questions, and I'm gonna ask Dakota's 21 either or questions. So I'm gonna say, hey, red or blue, and Dakota, I just want you to answer off the top of your head. I don't want you to think about. We want your natural instinct reaction to these questions. All right.
I'm ready.
All right. First question. American server or European server?
European server.
Coffee or iced coffee?
Hot coffee.
Okay. Lannister or Stark?
Lannister.
Florida or Michigan?
Florida.
Star Wars Episode 6 or Star Wars Episode 4?
4. 100%. That's A New Hope, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, A New Hope.
France or USA?
Whoever my lady is.
All right. We'll accept. You get one bailout. You get one bailout question. That's your bailout question.
Okay.
Would you like being the underdog or do you like having the upper hand?
I like being the underdog.
Okay. H1Z1 or CS:GO?
H1Z1.
Okay. Star Wars Battlefront or The Division?
I've never played Division, so.
Do you see yourself playing that game?
Nah, not really. I don't think so.
Okay. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Okay.
I sang him in the talent show. I have to.
What?
Yeah, I rapped a song from him. You know?
What song?
Changes.
Okay. And what talent show?
Middle school talent show.
Is there any footage of this anywhere?
There was footage, but it's probably locked somewhere in their archives. Right. Hopefully, it never comes out.
All right.
I can't believe I did it to this day.
All right. Rick or Daryl?
Rick.
Bob Ross or Piano Pro Man? Have you watched the Piano Guy on Twitch?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Okay.
Bob Ross, man. He's from Orlando.
He's from Orlando?
Yeah, he's from Orlando.
I didn't know that. Walking Dead or Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad.
That's surprising. Okay. Yellow Tree or Summit?
Yellow Tree.
Okay. Heya or Bushy?
I didn't think about it because Yellow Tree owes me a knife.
Okay.
A CS:GO knife.
Heya or Bushy?
Heya.
Snipe from 400 yards away or blindside point blank shot? They don't see you coming.
Far away snipe.
Okay. Favorite video series on your channel? A series or video? Salty People or Quickscope Jedi?
Salty People by far.
Okay, it's a great series. I have to plug this right now. Go to after the show's over, and we'll tell you where to find it. It's at youtube.com/Dakotaz Wolves is on YouTube.
Dakotaz Twitch.
Dakotaz Twitch on YouTube, and watch his series on Salty People. I think it's episode. What's the Trump one? Episode 3.
Yeah, number 3. That's the Trump
Episode
one.
3 of Salty People, as of right now, is my favorite YouTube video of 2016. That's all I'm gonna say. I've watched it 4 times and I cry every time. So go watch that when the show's over. All right, Coldplay or Nickelback?
Coldplay.
All right, H1Z1 or ISS?
Infestation.
Okay, and the last question: would you rather have a tamed pet wolf, or have a wild wolf pack living in your backyard?
I would rather have a wild wolf pack living in my backyard and then I move out. Okay. I would never get a tamed wolf because I don't believe you should have a tamed wolf.
All right, cool. You did good job, man. You did a great job. I think you bailed out on one question, but that's understandable. All right.
Yeah.
All right,
see
cool.
The American flag behind you, man. I can't believe picking.
All right. The last segment before we take a break here is we like to call Answer the Audience, and these are people that have left you voicemail questions, a select few we have to go through, and some of them we can't play because they're not always appropriate. We've selected a few that we can play, and so I'm going to go ahead and pull these up right now.
Wait, someone were leaving bad ones?
What's that?
Someone left bad voicemails? Like, screw you?
No, not bad. Some are just not appropriate. Like,
right.
You know, just
Understood.
like trolling. Not in a malicious way, but all right. So we're gonna go to the first one. Let me turn this up so you can hear it.
Okay.
All right. First question.
Do you find yourself playing any other games, any other shooter type zombie games, or are you just gonna stick with this main type?
So I think he's talking about in the future. Is there anything like coming out and?
Definitely if it grabs my interest, you know, it just has to be a good game, you know. If it grabs my interest and holds me.
Okay.
Competitive though, it has to be competitive.
All right. Next question.
Hey Dakotaz, how old do you think your viewers are in general?
That was from Volpa Plays, and he's. Could you understand the question?
Yeah, I understand. I would say that maybe 17 to 24.
Okay.
I would say my audience is.
Do you look at any of your analytics on YouTube to see that, or you don't even look? Oh,
No, I don't look at that. I don't know anything about that.
All right, cool. And then the last question. This is an interesting one.
Hey, this is Inga, one of Dakotaz moderators in his chat, and I have been watching him from almost start, around 3 years. So I have a question for him. If Dakota could change one thing in his life at this moment, right now, what would that be? Pick one thing you would change in your life right now and answer in 5 seconds. Love you. Bye.
You don't have to answer
What's
in
up?
5 seconds.
Shout out to Inga. One thing I would change in my life. Probably I would say my fitness. One thing I would change is I would try to be more healthier. I'm gonna start working out a bit. My fitness overall, not for appearance, but you know, my health.
Got
I
it.
really feel out of shape. You know, I need to crack on down on that.
All right. Well, so thank you so much for being so open. Dakotaz and I are going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to put Dakotaz through the Shooting Stars Ultimate Challenge. It's our version of American Gladiator, so we can see how he's going to stack up against previous guests. But we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in 3 short minutes, so don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to the second half of the show. Super excited to get started. We're going to jump into this thing right away by talking about the leaderboard. So, for those of you guys that missed the other shows, right now we had a new number 1 take over the leaderboard. Last week, Snipe Down, the pro Halo player, topped Wolves at My Door, but it's a new week, and I have a feeling Dakotaz is going to do pretty darn good in this, and we'll see what happens here. But we're going to go ahead and get into this. And so the first game we're going to play is that Mathis shade. Mathis unfortunately fell off the top of the leaderboard in the top spot. So the first game we're going to play is Quake Live, and here are the rules. Dakotaz, you ready to hear this?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. So first thing, the way this works is we're going to play 2 5-minute rounds, okay? There's no penalty for dying, so you can die as much as you want. But for each kill you get 25 points. Okay?
Okay.
Makes sense?
It makes sense.
All right. So you're going to be going up not against me. You're going to be going up against Team Shooting Stars Live, which is myself and 2 bots. So I'm just going to kind of blend in as a bot.
Okay.
But that's how it works. Any questions at all?
So just go for as many kills you can.
As many kills as you can. So don't
Okay.
worry about dying. If you die 100 times, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Got it?
I got it.
All right, cool. So what's going to happen here is we're going to go.
Prepare your team.
When the match starts, it's going to pause right away so I can unbalance the teams.
Okay.
So I'll give you the real go.
Fight.
All right. So what I'm doing right now, just so you know, you pick blue, correct?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Pick blue.
Okay, cool.
Taken.
So if you see Dakota on the screen, Dakota is on the blue team. He's going to be trying to take us out on the red team. All right. Any questions, Dakota, before we begin?
I'm good to go.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
I know how competitive you are, man.
I want to beat the bottom at least.
All right, here we go. So this is the first 5-minute match, and then next one we're going to go to another level. But you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. Good luck, man.
All right. Are we fight? Okay. Let's go.
2.
Just get as many kills as you can. All right, so Dakota, have you ever played Quake Live before?
Never.
Never played Quake
Teams
Live.
on
Okay.
top.
Never played.
What's the closest game to this that you've played before?
I would say Counter-Strike
Okay.
in the sense of first-person shooter kind of.
Okay. So Dakota's nailed one so far, and we got 4:30 left to play, and so I'll keep you guys updated. How does this translate into a nice shot, by the way?
Thank you.
How does this translate for you in difference with Counter-Strike?
I would say it's faster pace.
Do you feel nervous at all?
Nah, this is fun. I like this game.
You're not nervous?
I've always seen people play it, but I've never played it myself. What is the dog running around?
So the dog, you're going against Angel, Orb, and myself. Angel's as a level 1 opponent, and then Orb it's just a dude with 2 legs and an eye.
Okay.
There is an element of shame if Angel kills you. I mean, you may want to hang it up.
Really?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh god.
All right.
I think Angel killed me.
No, she's good because when she kills you, she'll sometimes rub it in your face. It's okay.
Oh
All right, right now, quick update. Dakotaz has 6 kills with 3.5 left to play. More often than not, our community in chat is better at stat keeping than myself in terms of records. So as soon as they'll drop, I think last week the single round record was set. But
what's the highest kill someone got?
in one round, I think it's 27.
Oh my god, I'm way behind.
It's all right though. The thing about the Shooting Stars Ultimate Challenge is not just about Quake Live. You want You want to do as well as you can, but the other rounds kind of even out. So if you're not great at first-person shooters, you still got a shot. But we know
I'm finding myself better with just not the cannon gun.
With not the rocket. Without the rocket.
Just automatic.
Okay. So you mentioned that I know you used to play a little Counter-Strike on stream. Do you still play it at all?
Not really. I don't really play it too much.
Or do you
I got so much going on right now.
Do you not play it period at all? Like on or off stream?
At all, right now. I will get back into it one day though, I think. Oh my god, I'm getting wrecked. No, dude!
Were you a CSGO player that would you buy keys and would you unlock boxes or crates, or did you not do that?
Definitely. I was into the skins, man. It's really cool. Oh, nice shot.
Thanks.
Nice one.
What was the single best skin that you opened up?
I opened, wow, what was that skin? I'm thinking real quick.
You remember what gun? Was it a gun or a knife?
It was a butterfly, factory new fade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you do it on
and
stream?
I actually sold it for $1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah.
Did you open it on stream?
Yep, opened it on stream.
What did you do?
I ran and screamed to my grandma. I live with my grandma here in America, and I was screaming at her because I just couldn't believe it.
Did she understand?
No, she didn't understand at all.
So was it Stat Track?
I can't remember if it was or not.
But you sold it right away. You're like,
yeah, I sold it to one of my mods.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You never forget when you open your first knife.
Never. And then I opened later. I opened a factory new Tiger Bayonet, I think.
Nice. Did you sell that one too?
No, I gave it away to one of my subs. Did a giveaway on the spot.
Nice. All right. So with a minute left, Dakota has 15 kills. Not bad for not playing Quake Live. I mean, you're definitely in the mix for sure.
No, the team up.
Did you ever watch American Gladiators as a kid?
Oh, heck yeah.
So you know what it's all about. Some people have never watched it before.
I actually went to a live one.
You did?
Yeah, I won tickets to it. I'll tell you how I won one. I lived near a lake growing up in Florida, and they would have these get-togethers, and you would have to win a free gladiator to go to the show. You have to have the best chalk painting on the cement.
Okay.
And I did a strategy. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna paint the Pepsi logo because one, it's gonna look really good and it looks nice, and it's not too hard. So I painted the Pepsi logo and won. My whole family got tickets to American Gladiator.
That's odd. So even then, man, you're competitive in sidewalk chalk. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I thought I was losing. I would lose because I don't know anything about art.
All right, not a bad showing. I would say you're in the definite top tier. I mean, you might even be the top 2 for, I think, up until last week. This is pretty good. So 18 in the first round's a really good score. So chalk Dakota up for 18 kills. How do you feel about your first round performance?
I found that I figured out what my pros and my cons are. I know that I'm not good with the rocket.
Okay. So
All my kills came after I switched to just automatic.
Okay. So what we're gonna do here is I gotta back out real quick and then just change
Okay.
the map and then just join me like you normally would. But I have a question for you. So you're familiar with American Gladiators. You went to it, which
Yep.
is amazing. If you were American Gladiator, what would your gladiator name be that wouldn't be Dakotaz? You can think about that one if you need to.
Let me think for a second.
Okay.
What would it be?
Can you remember what that experience was like going to American Gladiators? Was like as a kid, was it just like the best thing in the world?
It was awesome. It was cool to get my whole family there. You know, we were all there. We all loved American Gladiator. It was cool to just go to a show and see it live taped. It was insane. It was awesome. I mean, you know, I'm trying to think of a name because, you know, I don't want to take one like Lightning Turbo. You know, they all had names.
Did you have a favorite as a kid? You can join in now.
No, I didn't have a favorite really. Let me join real quick.
So I think the chat's saying that you had the second highest first round in Quake Live ever.
Oh, that's not bad.
And,
That's not bad.
And you're second to a professional Halo player. So that's
That's not so bad.
that's awesome. So you had a great first round, especially for never playing. All right, cool. You're in. All right, so I'm gonna add the same bots in here, and
Okay.
then we'll get started. Do you remember did the gladiator win or did the contestants win?
I believe a Gladiator won, if I can think back.
I feel like the contestants never won in that game, or very rarely.
Yeah, it was very rare.
Okay.
It was like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you know? Like, it never won.
All right, so I'm gonna pause this again to unbalance the teams as soon as it
Okay.
clicks over. Oops.
Fight.
Okay,
And
cool.
this live? Okay.
No, so I'm gonna go. Are you blue again? I didn't check.
Yeah, blue again.
Okay, so I'm gonna slide over to the red team, and then
Lead taken.
here we go. You ready?
Ready.
All right, good luck, man. So this is the last 5-minute Quake Live round, and then your scores will be combined.
All right, let's go.
All right, good luck, man.
Thank you, you too.
1. Teams on top.
So this map's a little bit different. It's
Okay.
there's a lot more hallways and channels, and the other one was a lot more wide open. So traditionally, doesn't mean that people get less kills on this one. Doesn't mean you're gonna get less kills, but it is a little bit more difficult on this one.
Yeah. I feel it.
Nice shot. Nice shot.
I think the rocket launcher is actually a good one in this one.
Why'd you say that?
It's closer quarters. People aren't as spread out.
Teams
I like how you operate, man. Like you're looking, and you're
Yeah.
looking for strategies, and that's awesome, man. I can see that. I don't know. I feel like we've got a really good glimpse into how you operate. Not as a caster. but
Oh,
as an
nice one.
Individual. Thanks, man. I call this the cigar launchers. All right, so let's do press on here.
This plasma gun is weird. It hits hard though, if you land it.
All right, so real quick recap: with 3:45 left, Dakotaz has 3 kills.
Ooh, I'm getting crushed this one. Woo!
This one's tough.
It's fun though.
All right, so in all your in all your runnings in H1Z1 and ISS War Z, can you think of a single time where you've enraged someone so much just by your play?
In the game,
Yeah.
H1Z1, it would have to be whenever I'm in Europe and people hear an American voice on a European server, they just get instantly mad.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they think that I'm in America and I don't belong on their server, that I shouldn't be in there. They think I'm in America joining Europe and they can't stand that, I think.
Do you feel that way about Europeans that join American servers?
Nah,
It doesn't matter to you.
doesn't matter to me now.
But you've been able, I don't say been able to, but you get the most rage when that happens.
Oh yeah, I go, hey, like I'll say it in my American voice, I kill them, I'm just like, hey, and then this rage ensues.
And thus making your Salty series on YouTube phenomenal.
Which means when I go back to France this week, the Salty series is back, man. It's back, full force. I'm getting crushed.
This is tough, man. This one's tough.
This is hard versus 3. trying to. Wow.
So one of the things we didn't talk about, you and I talked about off camera, is that ISS. You said they're developing a competitive scene, right?
Yeah. In Thailand, it's an esport, actually.
And so currently you can't compete as an American, or you said something like they're opening something up.
Yeah, they're gonna open like a global version of it to let people compete globally, but nothing's like 100% announced.
Okay.
It's kind of like
Just
hush.
speculation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, it's official in the sense that like high company blogs have talked to the devs.
Okay.
So there is like, it's not like fake or speculation. It is real. It's just not officially announced to the public.
Got it. Okay.
You know, like a really high read blog in Thailand will get access to the interview. You know?
Will you read those blogs? Do you have like Google Translate them, or are they in English?
Yeah, I Google Translate them, and people from Thailand will kind of tell me what it says. Plus, I'm friends with the developers of the Thailand version, so
Do you see
I know
yourself,
for sure.
do you see yourself competing when they open it up?
Definitely.
1 minute warning.
I mean, I know you're not going to be self-aggrandizing, but how do you think you're going to do? Do you think you have a shot to?
Oh, I think I'll do pretty decent. I actually competed in the last tournament with a 300 ping. Like I competed in it. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, I took out. I can't remember exactly, but it's 7 versus 7, right? And I think I took out 4 of them with a sniper.
Wait, with a 300 ping?
Yeah.
That's like splatterball ping phase.
Oh my god, it was insane. It's so frustrating. It's before I figured out like my VPNs and stuff, you know. So I was literally just connected with no VPN. It was so bad.
That's incredible, though, that you're able to pull off even a kill, let alone many kills, with a 300
I think
ping.
this, yeah. The sniper is more kind to you with the ping compared to like having an automatic rifle.
5 seconds left, Dakotaz. You can pull off one last kill, too.
Try it. No! Damn.
All right, not a bad showing. So 17, I believe, in the first round, 8 in the second. Final words on your performance in Quake Live, Dakotaz. How do you feel like you did?
I think I did decent. You know, obviously I could do way better. That level was hard. 3 people in that small of area, hard.
Okay.
But it was awesome. I actually really like this game.
Yeah, you did a great job, man. It's for not having ever played it again. Like I said, I think you get. I'm gonna double check this. I rely a lot on our judges, but I think you have the second highest total of all time, which is awesome. So, just to recap for you, you had 26 total kills, and that equates to 650 points so far. So very strong start.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
So now we're gonna switch to our second game, and it's ready for you to join. But I'll explain the rules. So the second game we're gonna play is a game called Brawlhalla, and we're gonna play 4 3-minute matches. And each of the 3-minute matches is a different game mode. The goal for you in this one, Dakota, is just to win the game mode. So the first one we're going to play is essentially what this game is. If you've never seen it, it's a 2D Smash Brothers type game. So the goal is to knock me off and to make sure I don't get back on the pedestal. Pretty straightforward.
So just you have to fall.
Yep. So you gotta knock me off. Have you ever played Smash Brothers before?
I've played it a long time ago. I didn't really play it too much though.
Okay. So, yeah, cool. So if you just pick your guy, then we're good to go. And then so we're going to play 4 matches. For each match you win, it's 250 points. So there's a lot on the line. All right?
Okay.
All right, cool.
Let's go.
Let's do this. All right, so I'm just waiting for you to pick your guy. All right, so you're going to go with Thatch. I think they're all pretty much the same. I don't necessarily know. I'm just kind of making that up. But
I like the art on this game.
Yeah, it's cool, huh?
Yeah,
so
it's really cool.
Cool thing about this game, it's free to play, and the elements of that you buy are, from my understanding, it's just cosmetic, so it's not like pay to win or anything.
Okay.
Cool. So then if you just hit your ready button, we'll be ready to go. I think does it say ready for battle? Oh, never
we're good.
On me. All right, cool. All right, so let's go. Have you ever played this game?
When I first got it, I played like maybe 5 minutes of it just to see.
Just to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, good luck, man.
Thank you. You too.
So, as a kid, were you more of a Nintendo guy or like a Sega guy?
More Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Yeah, I loved Nintendo all the way.
And you said you oh, okay, there you go. Some of the Zelda or Link looking individual, although this is
Yeah, you look.
All right, so All right, so the other thing I want to ask you said you were big into RPGs as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite RPG, or what's your best RPG memory?
My favorite RPG would have to be Chrono Trigger.
Really?
Yeah, it was just. Oh, how do I jump?
You can keep jumping.
Oh, which jump? I don't even know what it is.
I don't know. I'm using a gamepad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me jump real quick. Okay, I figured I'd jump.
Was it like a family playthrough? Did you and your brothers play it, or were you hogging it?
I rented it from Blockbuster, and I think like we rented it. We held it so long that like we actually bought it from the store. You know what I mean? Like we never returned it. So. Oh.
Nice. I like your character better. I'm gonna take a melee character next one. All right.
You might be able to pick up that sword.
So there's actually they announced this at PAX South, I believe, but they're actually having a $40,000 tournament for this game.
What?
Yeah, this is getting, it's pretty competitive.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm understanding the jump now.
Okay. So right now you guys can't see the score, but right now I'm up 2 to -1 because if you die you get minus points.
Oh no! Oh, that was the next one. Oh no.
It's all right, man.
What was that? How'd you knock me out that far? That was epic.
I'm just trying to be like you in H1Z1. That's all.
Oh, there it is.
How many battle royales do you think you won in H1Z1?
Probably about 150.
That is insane.
Yeah, but some people have like 1,000.
Yeah, but they're not Bay Life.
Yeah, I would say I'm not really trying to win right now.
What is Bay Life? I forget. So there's no life and then there's Bay Life.
Bay Life is like YOLO.
Okay.
Pretty much. I think it started in like League of Legends.
How did you bring it to War Z? Because that's when I first heard it, when we played War Z together.
Well, just like, you know, like when there's like 4 people in the medic building or something, or in a building, you kind of just got to be brave, you know, you got to Bay Life it. So that's how we looked at it.
So you'll say Bay Life before you go in?
Yeah, Bay Life. You know, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to go in with 4 people, but, you know, it's gonna be a show.
What's your favorite item you've unmasked or unbagged in H1Z1 after a BR win?
Oh,
Do you have one?
well, I've done a crate before. I've done the crates. Favorite item, the Patriotic AR.
That is pretty sweet. You did a video on that, didn't you?
Yeah.
4, 3, 2.
This is hard for me.
Yeah, it's not an easy game, especially if you're not playing with the controller. But not a bad showing. So Dakotaz,
Nice.
it was 3-0 that round. So Dakotaz gets no points that round. The good news is there's 3 more rounds of this. So the next one we're gonna do here is let's back out of this. So you can just stay in this. So the next game we're gonna play is a game called Brawl Ball.
Okay.
And essentially what it is, there's gonna be a golden looking football in the middle of the screen. And it's your job it's the goal for you to pick that ball up and then run it into my end zone.
Okay.
All right. So
Got
you
it.
don't have to throw it in. You just have to
Just gotta run
it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the only other thing is that you'll be blue and I'll be red. You can't run through my wall. So I'll have a wall in front of my end zone. You have to jump over it. And then same for you. I can't run through your wall. I have to jump over it. But you can run through your own wall, if that makes sense. Once you see it, it'll make sense. But
Okay.
and then yeah, just you got to confirm your guy, and then we're good to go.
Well, I think I gotta get my XP first. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I see a couple Hayas in chat, and I see a couple Bay Lifes too. Nice.
Wait, what do I want to click? Do I go back to the lobby?
No, you can just join, pick your guy. It has you in the game for me right now.
Oh, I see it now. I got it.
It's all good.
I'm gonna pick this guy.
You went same guy or different guy?
Different guy.
Okay.
His name's Sentinel.
All right, let's do this. All right, so you understand the concept of this one or the goal of this one?
Yep. Gotta get to the gold ball and run it to your zone.
See what I'm talking about? See those walls?
1.
Yeah, I see him.
Okay. I don't think you're penalized for dying in this one. You just gotta score.
Oh, you gotta go over it?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta run to it. Okay, I get it. Oh.
No!
Oh, you gotta stay in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't throw it in. You just got to stand in it.
I'm learning things as I go. That sucks. No.
So you can run through your wall though. You can't run through my wall.
Nice one. Okay. I didn't see. I was in it, but I didn't know you needed to stay.
So you got it now.
Yep.
All right. So you start with the ball then. No. No.
Oh no, I'm getting dominated.
You only get 1 point per, so there's 2 minutes left. You got plenty of time. Yeah, this game is called Brawlhalla. It's free to play.
Oh no!
I don't think you don't lose points for dying in this one.
Okay. Strategy. I'm getting crushed.
It's all right, man. It's all right. I've never won a battle royale. It all evens out in the end.
I like it though. Oh, you can't pick it up when you have a sledge.
Yeah, do you know how to chuck it?
No, actually I don't.
I think try right click. Does that work?
Let me see. No. Hold on, let me find a button. Well,
I'm not gonna bay life you because you don't know how to do that.
Well, let me try to get rid of this thing. I wonder what you hit. Oh, there we go. It was like G or something.
Throw is V. V is throw.
Okay, let's fight for this thing. Let's go. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna stick to shooter games.
It's all good, man. This is I think someone blanked in this, so someone didn't score any points, so you're good. It's all for fun, man. It's all. But I forgot to tell you though. At the end of the first season of Shooting Stars Live, there is a nice goal. There is a championship belt on the line. So whoever.
Is it really?
Yeah, like a legit belt.
Okay.
Get up there. Oh. So to be able to pick it up, you can't have anything in it. Oh, nice.
Oh. Fight for it.
Nice.
I gotta learn how to. Okay, got it.
3, 2, 1.
No, go. Nice.
Not bad, not bad. You got on the board. All right, cool. So our next game is we call it's Bombsketball. So there's gonna be 2 bombs on the board, and the goal is for you to pick up the bomb and throw it at my target. So you can also use the bombs to like knock me off. You can do whatever you want, but the ultimate goal is not how many times you kill me, it's how many times you hit my target with a bomb.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Cool. So everyone's saying snowballs. So after this one, I think this one is definitely one of the more difficult ones. It's really hard to hit the target, but it's real satisfying when you do.
Okay.
Did you confirm your character?
Yep, confirmed. Oh wait, there we go.
All right, cool.
This guy's cool.
All right, you understand what you need to do?
Kinda, yeah. I kind of learned it as I go.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
This is not the right one. Are you still in the game?
Custom.
I screwed
Yeah.
that
Do you
one
want
up.
me to leave it? Okay.
I thought I changed it. All right, my bad. Custom online, make game. Okay, cool. You should be good to join now.
Okay, I'm gonna join. Yep, that's it. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. I was actually just
It
trying.
gives me a second to pause after getting beat like that.
I was actually just trying to get you not to pick that character. I don't know why. It's just really intimidating, but you went right back after it. All right, let's do this. Okay, cool.
Right,
so you see the.
You gotta hit the thing.
Yeah, with the bomb.
Okay.
And these bombs respawn. Or you
snap.
can kill me too. You can do that. That's like defense. The bombs also
that was a
bounce
nice
too.
one.
It's really hard to chuck them. I will say that. There is a strategy that I won't use because it's cheating until you figure out.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of a cheap strat, so that's why I'm not going to use it.
Just do it. Let's do it. Oh my god, you see that throw?
Oh, nice.
I wish I could just run into it.
You may be able to. I don't, like, may be able to run
No, I tried it.
Oh, it doesn't work?
Yeah. Oof. I think bouncing them is the best bet.
There's a I don't want to call it a cheap strat, but there's definitely a strat. Oh, nice. There's definitely a strat that makes it a lot easier. It's kind of, I'm thinking about it now, it's kind of, I don't know.
I got one.
Nice. Well, it's only 2-1 right now. Nice. That's not a bad strat either to block that, because you don't you don't get any penalties for.
Oh, so close!
No! Alright. I just want to get you back there.
No!
Nice. Alright. I'm tempted to use a cheat strat, but I'm not going to. Until you figure it out, I'm not going to do it, because then it's not.
Really? Is it something easy to figure out?
It's, I mean, no one figured it out until last week, so.
Wait, can you just like run up and throw it?
No, it's just a different strat, but I'm not going to use it. I don't particularly like it. Like, the game gets out of hand, but I'm up 1 right now.
2.
Oh. Nice try. All right, so score is 3-2. That was your best showing, though.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I like that one.
I think you're.
So what's the cheat?
So the cheat is, it's not a cheat, but you take the bomb and you jump right over the target and you go down with the bomb. So it's like you almost never miss if you can get there.
Oh wow.
So it's not a cheat, it's just a strat, and I don't like it's if you don't know it, it's not fair to use that. So that's kind of the rules. If you figure it out, then I'm gonna start doing it. But if not, it's like I keep it the same. All right, so this last one. It's my personal favorite because I think it requires the least amount of skills. So like usually I do good at this. I just spam the button. But this one's called Snow Brawl. And what it is there's no weapons. You just constantly regenerate snowballs in your hand. And you have to tag me with it. So like you have to try to throw the snowball at me.
Okay.
And for each snowball you hit, you get 1 point. But you can also knock me off and get 3 points.
Okay.
Got it?
So you just got to keep throwing them at you?
Yeah, you can just keep spamming the attack.
Okay, I think I got it.
Can you run up and throw it? That's a different strat. No, you have to go above it. All right, here we go. Good luck, man.
Thank you. Good luck.
Dakotaz, this may be the only thing I ever beat you in ever. So I'm gonna.
Nah, you just beat me in everything.
All right, let's do this. Dakota, have you ever gone to any cons before, like PAX East or anything like that? No.
No, I want to eventually.
You're going to that France life.
3, 2,
Exactly.
1.
Too busy eating baguettes.
Too busy eating what?
Baguettes.
What's that?
It's like bread.
Oh, like baguette.
Oh, baguette.
Well, I mean, you know how to say it. I don't know how to say it.
I don't know.
What's the French cuisine like? What? Nice. You're up 7-2 right off the bat. This one will get out of hand. But what do you eat when you're in France?
Just everything really.
Like, what's something that you would eat there that we wouldn't eat here? Or
like foie gras.
What's that?
Like, it's I don't know exactly what it is, but it's I don't know. Maybe it's like duck liver.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's it was weird when I first tried it, but then the next times were really good.
What's it called?
It's very good. It's called foie. I think it's maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. I think I am because I haven't said it in a while. But it's someone typed it in chat. Foie gras.
Foie gras. What is there like? Is there any French chains there? Not like McDonald's, but are there any like French branded food stores? That
yeah, there's a place called Speed Burger.
Speed Burger.
Yeah, Speed Burger. They got McDonald's. I mean, they got a lot.
Wait, is it called Speed Burger or is it Speed Burger in French?
No, it's called Speed Burger.
Oh, okay. All right, so right now Dakotaz is up 25-10. So when the game said dominating, they weren't talking about my play. Dakotaz, I think he's got his bearings in this game now. Oh, nice. It's nice snipe.
I love the bread in France, though, I will say.
What's the difference between the bread in France and the bread?
It's just, the difference is that in France, I can eat the bread just plain, and it's just amazing.
With nothing on it?
With nothing on it. It's just the most amazing thing ever. The bakery there are insane. I live right near a bakery, so every morning I just head into the bakery and it's fresh, everything.
I just picture you like rolling up. You go to the bakery. You get your baguette. You may have like a coffee, but you get a coffee in like a little cup. You pinky up, and then you just
nice one.
Then you just strap on. You're like, all right, let's go wreck some people. And
you know what I really like in Europe that I've not found in America is it's a chip brand. It's called I gotta remember the name. Hold on. They're called Monster Munch.
What? That's the name of it?
Monster Munch. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's these little ghost-shaped chips, and they're just the best thing I've ever tasted.
Wait, they're shaped like ghosts?
Yeah, the ghosts.
I'm gonna look at Monster Crunch. Are they flavored?
Monster Munch.
Monster Munch.
Yeah, they're like one that I like is ham and cheese. Oh, nice one.
Ham and cheese Monster Munch.
Yeah.
5,
That's so good, man.
3,
I'm just dodging you right now.
1.
That's not a bad strat. Nicely done. All right, so Dakotaz won the last round 41-29. So that gets him on the board for another 250. Nicely done. I felt like you played your best Brawlhalla there at the end, Dakotaz.
Thank you.
What are your final thoughts on Brawlhalla?
This game is really fun. I like it a lot. I think I'll stick to shooters though.
Could you see this making the rotation with your lady friend? Or no? You gotta stick to
yeah, for sure. Anything could be in the rotation with my lady.
All right, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move into the last game that we play, and it's a game that we like to play. It's a game we like to call "Your Life According to Others." All right? And the way it works is there's 8 questions, and 8 questions coming from 2 people that you know. Okay, and you must correctly guess your friend's response.
Okay.
Okay. So, for example, I've already sat down and had a few calls with your friends, and I would say, hey, what is Dakotaz's favorite color? Okay. And then you would have to say, you would tell me what you think your friend would say.
Okay.
Got it?
So I'm gonna answer as if they were answering.
Yeah. So you have to try and guess what they're gonna say about you.
Okay.
Makes sense?
You already talked to these people?
I already talked to them.
Okay.
All right. And for each correct answer you get is 500 points.
Okay.
Got it?
Ooh, that's a lot of points.
That's a lot on the line.
That's huge.
All right. So let me go ahead and fire this up here for you. 1 second. All right, cool. So the 2 guests, any idea who we brought in here?
No idea.
No clue. So no one spilled the beans.
I'm going to guess one.
Okay, guess one.
Possibly Saint.
Okay. So one was Saint, and that was your guess, and what's the other? Okay.
Oh, my God.
Okay. So the 2 people that we asked about you were Stormin and Yellowtree. Yellowtree, you and Yellowtree go way back. You and Stormin are just recent friendly rivals, we can say. Okay. So
we got a lot of respect.
Yeah, not rivals and like you guys hate each other, but rivals. You guys are both really good at the game. All right. So how you feeling? What's your confidence level going into these?
I think I'm confident. I mean, I think I'm going to get them.
Okay. All right. The first question is from Stormin.
Okay.
And the question is, if I asked Stormin, if you were to give Dakota $10,000 cash, okay, and he has to spend it only on himself, so he can't give it away, can't spend it on friends, can't spend it on family. He's got to spend it solely on himself. What do you think Stormin would say that you'd spend it on?
I would spend it on a new computer.
Okay. So final answer is new computer.
Final answer, new computer.
Okay. Here we go. When Stormin was asked what he thought Dakota would spend $10,000 on, here was his answer.
If I gave $10,000 to Dakotaz, what do I think he would spend it on? I know he's bought these 2 wolf rings, that are very expensive. So I gotta say wolf rings, pretty much.
Oh, that's a good one. He's right, actually.
Will you show us that ring?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my one of my wolf rings.
Is it custom?
It is custom. I mean, that's
sweet.
This was, it wasn't custom crafted for me, but this person, this person just started making rings, so this is their first ring.
That's awesome. Nice.
Yeah,
man.
it's hard to see it because of the focus, but
All right. All right. So unfortunately, you didn't get that question right. However, you still have 7 more questions to go. All right. Next question we asked Stormin if you had to compare Dakotaz to a celebrity lookalike, who would it be? So what do you think? Who do you think Stormin compared you to as a celebrity lookalike?
Jack Black.
Okay, Jack Black.
Jack Black. That's what everybody says. I go out to a bar and someone's like, "Yo, are you Jack Black?"
All right, when Stormin was asked who he would compare, what celebrity he would compare Dakotaz to, this was his answer.
If I had to compare Dakotaz to a celebrity lookalike, who would it be and why? I'm gonna say Hugh Jackman, Wolverine in X-Men. What do you think?
I like that answer, actually. You know what? I might not get the points, but I get the confidence with that.
There you go.
I like that.
That's why he said Jack Black. I'm like, I would probably go Hugh Jackman over Jack Black, but I was privy to that information. All right.
I like that.
All right, next question we asked Stormin was, what do you think Dakotaz going to be doing when he's 80 years old?
You want my answer?
Yeah.
Playing video games.
Okay.
Still playing video games.
Playing video games, final answer.
Final answer.
All right. When Stormin was asked what he thought Dakota would be doing at age 80, this is what Stormin said.
What do you think Dakotaz will be doing when he's 80 years old and why? I just think he's going to be living happily with his girlfriend at the moment. Just chilling, not playing any video games at all. Because I think he's going to be tired from that.
You know what? I feel like Stormin's answers are all 100% true. And I'm like maybe overthinking it, you know? Like I'm like, yeah, I'll still be playing video games. He's like, he knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you're gonna be chilling, just enjoying life. You're gonna be retired. You're gonna have all your Thailand trophies up in your trophy cabinet and just chilling.
I can't believe that he said not playing video games.
All right, last question from Stormin. We asked Stormin, if you were to describe Dakota in one word, what would it be?
Nice, kind.
Okay. So nice, kind. We'll kind of.
Kind person.
Okay. All right. So
Genuine.
When Stormin was asked to describe Dakota in one word, here's what he said.
If I gotta describe Dakotaz in one word, what would it be? Wolf.
I was gonna say wolf, but then I was like, you know what? You know, I want to go with something he's really thinking about. Dang it.
That's what happens in this game. People always.
I like this game. This is a really cool game.
People go against their instinct, and sometimes it all depends on where you're at. But good news is, so you're 0 for 4, but there's 4 questions left, and the final 4 are from Yellow Tree.
Okay.
All right.
I just want to say thank you to Stormin, man. It's so cool he did that.
Yeah. Big
bro.
shout out to Stormin. He's on Twitch. Check him out, and then tell us a little bit about how you know Yellow. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. Just tell me how you know Yellow Tree.
I know Yellow Tree because he used to be in Summit's crew in War Z.
Okay.
And I would fight Summit and his crew, and me and Yellow Tree would meet out and battle each other. We'd both be dead and coming back to the fight, and we would just be fighting each other.
Okay.
So that's how we meet.
All right. So first question is the same one. We started. If Yellow Tree were to give you $10,000 to spend only on yourself, you can't give it away, and you can't, give it to someone else. You can't, buy something for someone else. Only on yourself. What do you think Yellow Tree said you would do with it?
Spend it on food.
Okay, spend it on food. Final answer?
Final answer. If he doesn't say that, he's lying.
Okay. When Yellow Tree was asked if he were to give Dakota $10,000 to spend only on himself, here's what he said.
If I gave Dakota's $10,000 spend on himself, I guarantee you he would buy a crap ton of food. That compared to...
Tell me, that's the last thing I'd ever expect.
Because me and Yellow Tree are fatties. We basically just, I don't know. The reason I say that is because me and Yellow Tree, we always talk about food. So.
All right, I got you. Well, knowing You guys sharing that love of food just earned you 500 points. So
Boom, nice, Yellow Tree.
all right, next question for Yellow Tree, from Yellow Tree is: if you had to compare Dakotaz to a celebrity lookalike, who would it be and why? You don't have to. The why part doesn't matter, but who would it be? I can't believe you got that right.
I would say Brad Pitt.
Okay. Brad Pitt. All right.
Brad Pitt, final answer.
Final answer. Okay. When Yellow Tree was asked to compare Dakota to a celebrity lookalike, when he was asked to compare Dakota to a celebrity, here's what Yellow Tree said.
If I had to compare Dakota to a celebrity lookalike, he has sort of the G-Eazy look where it's like fresh and dapper, if you know what I mean. I always called him G-Eazy, so I'm going to go with that.
I didn't want to
I said Brad Pitt because I don't think I look like Brad Pitt, but I know he would just say that to troll me, you know?
I didn't want to date myself when I was talking to Yellow Tree. I have no idea who G-Eazy is.
G-Eazy's just a rapper from the Bay Area, and he's starting to come up right now. He's starting to become popular.
Got it. That Bay life.
Bay life.
All right. Next question. If you were to describe Dakotaz in one word, what would that one word be? G-Eazy.
Ooh, let me think. What Yellow Tree would say. I would say nerdy. Nerd.
Nerd?
Yeah.
Nerdy. Okay. When we asked Yellow Tree to describe Dakota in one word, here's what he said.
If I was to describe Dakotaz in one word, I'd say unique. Dakotaz is really unique.
Oh, that's nice of him to say.
Accurate?
Accurate? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't know. You know, I can't really judge myself.
All right, last question. We asked.
It's cool to hear Yellow Tree. I haven't talked to Yellow Tree in a while, so it's cool to hear him.
Yeah, he's living that Bay life right now.
He does. Arcade life.
No, he's awesome, man. It was cool to get his perspective on you. But all right, last question from Yellow Tree. What is the most embarrassing thing or story you know about Dakotaz?
Oh, hold on. Let me think for a second. Ooh, this is a hard one because I don't know if I ever told him one. Most embarrassing story. This is hard for me. I gotta think.
Okay. Well, this is where the show's good because if you tell a story that we've never heard before that's embarrassing about yourself, it's good. And if it's not, and if he tells a different one, it's even better because then we get two embarrassing stories about you.
I think I'm just gonna go with when I passed out on stream from being drunk.
Okay. So when you passed out, you actually did that?
It's on YouTube, man.
Right,
it's terrible.
So you okay, so final answer is when you passed out on stream drunk.
100%. And deleted my character. 100%.
Okay. When Yellow Tree was asked what is the most embarrassing thing or story he knows about Dakotaz, here's what he said.
So the most embarrassing story I know about Dakotaz when he got really wasted on stream, and it was just like a 6-hour long marathon of every streamer ever known to man trying to wake him up to end his stream. So basically, we just watched him, made sure he was okay, and 3 minutes later, he flops over and just goes to sleep, like half off of his chair. And I'm pretty sure that's the next morning when he woke up and found his wolf hat that he used to wear in the freezer. With his freezer wide open. So that made for some interesting times.
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna let you off that easy. What happened? Tell me about this legendary stream. Congratulations! You got 500 points, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Basically, a bunch of guys that I was PvPing with were drinking, and I decided, well, I'll drink too, you know. And I don't drink ever. I don't normally drink, and so I got a whole bottle of vodka, big one, and ended up drinking the whole bottle, the entire bottle. And I, oh my god, it was so bad. I blacked out probably instantly, almost like drinking, you know, because we were doing shots every death or whatever, something like that. I can't remember exactly. And yeah, blacked out. Twitch admin actually booted off my stream. He took me offline.
Wait, what?
Like, yeah, Twitch admin removed me off the stream. He didn't. He told me I just be careful, don't do that. You know, he wasn't like mad at me because I was sleeping. All I was doing was sleeping in my chair. Summit was there. So many people were there, man. It was before I had a sub button and everything.
And so you woke up the next morning and you found your hat in the freezer?
I woke up with my clothes off. First thing I did was get out of my bed and I was like, oh my God, I was hoping that my stream wasn't on. You know, I was shocked. I jumped to the ground. I hit the ground instantly and like crawled over and like crawled up and was like, I was like, oh snap, am I still streaming? And then I see my character screen open still. My character is deleted. I have the biggest headache. I go out there, my freezer's open, my wolf hat's in there. Wow. And then it was the worst day ever, man. I probably puked 20 times. No joke.
Since then, have you ever drank on stream?
Never. Never again will it happen, ever.
Well, at least you learned your lesson. All right, so as we tally up the scores here, Dakotaz, I'm going to check with the judges. You scored 650 points in Quake Live with a total of 26 kills. In Brawlhalla, you won one match and won 250 points. And in your Life According to Others, which is very difficult to get, you got 2 of 8 correct for 1,000 points. So that brought your grand total to 1,900 points, and you knocked KYR Speedy out of third place position. And now, sir, you are on the top 3 part of the leaderboard. How do you feel about that?
I feel good, man. I mean, I don't play these games. You know, it's really hard for me to think about what people would say. You know, Yellow Tree was a little easier because I know Yellow Tree's mindset is, you know, I know that it's like, you know what I mean? Like, me and Stormin were bros, but me and Yellow Tree, we like, you know, we went 2 years just gaming together every day, you know?
The best thing I didn't tell you during when I was talking to Yellow Tree, because, you know, I asked him a bunch of questions. The entire time, he was playing some game. Like, I don't know if you could hear, like, the clicking back and forth. Like, it was just...
He's playing Arcade.
Yeah.
We've lost Yellow Tree to Arcade. We need to do, like a intervention for that kid.
It was just, I heard clicking the entire time. And I didn't want to ask him, like, all right, Yellow Tree, do your thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're giving us some great answers, But cool, man. Dakotaz, we really want to thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to tell, you know, I know this is like a chance for you to, you know, share something different about yourself to your audience. Is there anything you want to say, you know, to people out there that are going to watch this interview that, you know, care about you and that are part of your community?
I just want to say that Twitch is awesome. It's amazing. I love my community. I love my lady. Just, I don't know. Thank you for watching and give me the opportunity to come get interviewed. I love your series, man. I've been watching it, lurking it, watching it. It's awesome what you're doing.
Well, awesome, man. You did a great job, and I want to give you this time to let everyone know where they can find you, you know, and what your schedule is right now. We have a screen up with, you know, your Twitch channel, your YouTube, and Twitter. But tell us where they can find you and what they can expect to see when they tune in and watch your stream.
You can find me on twitch.tv/Dakotaz, Dakota with a Z. I stream every morning Eastern, maybe like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but maybe a little bit earlier since I'm going to France in a week. What you can expect is basically some good gameplay. I mean, I like to really concentrate and be good at games, but also like be kind of trolly, be funny. They call me Troll Kodas. I like to be good, but also like to be funny. So that's the thing that I like. I like pushing buttons, salty videos. I like pushing people's buttons pretty much.
All right, so make sure to check.
But not too much.
Yeah, no, it's you push the right buttons without being, you know, abrasive and rude. You know, like you just, from my experience, and I enjoy watching you because you walk that fine line that a lot of people can't walk, and it's really,
yeah. I'm not really trying to offend someone, but I'm trying to make people laugh. You know, like get him.
Well, you succeed in that in every stream. So make sure to check out Dakotaz. All the links and all of his channels are below right now. But Dakotaz, we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on the show. It's been a pleasure, man. You know, we really appreciate you opening up and sharing your story, man. It was a great show.
Thank you so much, man.
Awesome.
And thanks for just being an awesome interviewer.
Well, thanks, man. No, I appreciate you coming on. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Shooting Stars Live. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you go over to Dakotaz's channel, drop him a follow. If you want to follow the channel here, I encourage you to do that. We go live here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern with a new guest. And for those guys that are familiar and want to see how Dakotaz's scores stand up, I think he's going to stay in the top 3 for a while. Just throwing that out there. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you missed any of the interview, it'll be posted on my YouTube channel after the fact. The link will be in chat. But make sure to follow Dakotaz. And Dakotaz, man, wish you best of luck. And I'll see you on your stream soon, man.
I'll do this to end it. Ow! Oh, I couldn't do it. Ow!
All right, later, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, Lisa, what's going on? I forgot to say hello. Lisa is Dakota's mom. Hello. You're awesome. Bye, Lisa.